Guys are good to go.
Hi, Dr. Lamb. It is so wonderful to have you here. And for those of you that don't know Dr. Lamb, he is literally one of the most renowned lifestyle physicians around the world who's been changing people's lives for many, many years. He's also a best-selling author, clinician, researcher, and a friend of the Danielle Lynn Show. So it's nice to see you. How are you doing?
Well, actually, you are really seeing me. Normally, I just hear you and you hear me, but it is great.
I know, this is the whole thing. You got to like cough up and do this whole different thing when you're doing the Googles. I love it. So how are you doing? Are you getting ready for the holidays?
Well, this is clearly a great time to be in New York between Thanksgiving and Christmas. The whole city, which is alive to begin with, is even more alive. I mean, the trees going up tomorrow. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm going to be in Boston for just before the holidays, but it's also an equally beautiful city. So today, I know we're going to talk about, you were just on the program. Of course, it was fabulous. And we got a chance to talk in greater length about travel, and it's that time of year where a lot of people are going to be hopping on planes. They're going to be crunched in these tiny little seats. And I know that you've done so much research on what they call the economy class syndrome. And so let's talk about travel this time of year.
Clearly, look, travel is a lot of fun. People get to go to new places. They have vacation time. They can see their family. But, there are risks with travel. Obviously, now we know that there are infectious disorders that they're going to be exposed to. We know there can be sleep issues and jet lag, and they're going to, unfortunately, be at risk for other things that they may not be aware of. And one of them, has been designated what we call the economy class syndrome. It was really a syndrome, a disease that was the result of what we would say, the result of not walking around and not moving about in a cramped space, which then resulted in some clotting in your legs and the veins in your legs, which then caused something very serious, which is called a pulmonary embolism. That is, this clot, gets released from these veins and actually ends up in your lungs, which prevents you from breathing, and unfortunately, you could die from it.
So is it something that somebody just traveling, is it a long haul, or is it just because you're sitting there, it could be even a couple of hours that the circulation is just cut off?
Well, I think it's really a combination of a perfect storm. It usually occurs in somebody who might be somewhat at risk for getting clots. Let's say you're a smoker. Let's say you are significantly overweight. All right. Let's say you have varicose veins to begin with. So that is something that predisposes you to getting something more serious. Then you put that person into a tight quarter in which they're hardly moving around. So, for example, as we discussed, I think last week, let's say you had the window seat. You're more cramped than the aisle seat. You're less likely to want to intrude and get up and interfere with the person next to you. So now you're sitting cramped for several hours. You've got this predisposition. Before you know it, you could actually start getting a clot in your leg. It could start brewing. It may not manifest itself right away. Maybe a day later, maybe 2 days later.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's what this is all about.
So it's dealing with the circulation. I know that you've talked so many times about the heart, and when we were talking about the different things that we can do, I know you mentioned Pycnogenol, which for both of us, I got the reality of that from just being on planes and having swollen feet and not being able to put my shoes back on. And you were talking about that this is one of the most significant nutritional supplements. Let's dive down a little bit into that.
The swelling in your legs really is the result of this pooling of blood on the venous side of the circulation, not the arteries, the slower moving side of the circulation. Everybody gets swelling in their legs when they've been sitting for hours. Okay, some more than others where they can't even put their shoe back on. Right, you take it off and then you can't put it back on. So everybody really does get it to one degree or another. And it's interesting. This very simple herb called Pycnogenol, which is really a complex molecule. It comes from the French maritime pine bark. It's a natural product. It's a patented natural product. And it miraculously really does have some properties that reduce the likelihood of the blood clotting in your veins. And it's been used by physicians and non-physicians for many, many years in dealing with circulatory disorders. I actually studied it primarily in dealing with sexual issues because it promotes blood flow, which is on the arterial side. So both on the arterial side and the venous side, this herb can be extremely helpful.
Yeah, when you were saying about being on the plane, that not only is there a study that I want you to talk about, but as soon as you told me that about try not to book the window. A lot of people love the window, but it's cold, you're cramped in there, you feel awkward, you don't want to get out. And the one thing you were saying that was really important is if you get in that window section, or in fact anywhere, get up anyway and start moving around on the plane.
That's honestly, that's what they really, it's not the economy class, it's the lack of movement. And whether that's first class, business class, or economy class, it's the lack of activity and movement that's the problem. So, if you're getting a little older, if you're a little overweight, if you have some problems with your veins, if you know already that you have some kind of what we call coagulation problem, that is that you seem to clot more easily than other people, start walking around.
Yeah. And are you taking, so tell us about the study, and because I didn't even know that. As many years as I've been taking Pycnogenol, the study that was done on when you would take it and how effective it can be.
Well, I think that, Pycnogenol is something that a lot of people take all the time. I take Pycnogenol, my wife takes it. I mean, this is not just for travel, but for those individuals who, for example, say, look, my diet is great. I have fruits and vegetables, I eat nuts, I have all the foods that are healthy. I don't really want to take any supplements. I might consider Pycnogenol for long travel, that's for certain. So maybe a day before, I would take 100 to 200 milligrams, of Pycnogenol. It's a very safe product, so there's really no toxicity associated with it. And I would take it the day before. I would take it the day that you travel, and I would really take it for a few days afterwards. Remember, how long is your trip going to be? If it's a week, take it every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you might be sitting in cars too and sitting around, but I like the idea.
Right.
You were saying on the show about that that they saw that even if you took it 2 hours before getting on the flight, that it actually did make a difference.
Well, it certainly is going to make a difference in the swelling in your legs, and whether you get this clotting, which is very dangerous, or you just get the annoyance and fatigue of having swollen legs. I mean, it's certainly worth trying.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. And just a couple more tips that you had mentioned, which I loved. When you were on, I just felt like, because I've been on the road since literally months and months, and I've been all over the world. And you said a couple of things like, watch your sugar intake. The pretzels are coming around. Try and get something that's not carbohydrate loaded, or the that kind of sweet drinks when you're on the plane. What's the other thing? I would assume water.
That's a really, really good point. When people go away on a trip, even though they, under normal circumstances, follow a prudent eating program, their whole schedule is disrupted. They get to the airport, they miss lunch, they get to the airport, and all you see are fast food restaurants. It's really highly processed, salty food, but you're hungry, you're stressed out, you feel food is a drug, not a nutrient, and you're really not doing yourself a great service. You're really going to affect your vacation because you're going to be more fatigued. So, plan ahead what you're going to be eating. Maybe even bring the food with you. Be careful about the excessive salty foods, and especially, you drink a little bit of wine, they bring you the pretzels and the peanuts. They're salty. You're just going to, you're going to exaggerate the amount of swelling in your legs. And then you're going to feel bloated. Your whole gastrointestinal tract is going to be thrown off because you may have a 4 to 6 hour change in time schedule. As a lot of people, their whole gastrointestinal tract really does get disrupted with travel. So you be aware that travel is going to be great for you, and we look forward to it, and I certainly do. But, if you can plan a little bit ahead, sleep the night before, go to sleep a little earlier, don't eat as much the day of your travel, but prepare for your day of travel. Take the Pycnogenol. You're going to have a better trip.
Yeah, I love that. So hydrate, make sure, and they have these wonderful alkaline waters now that you can get it. So just, all the things that you provided as far as tips. It's funny, every time you're with me, and we've been doing this for years, I always seem to learn something that, even if I knew it, it resonates. So, if you're watching this right now and you want to learn more, go to Pycnogenol, Pycnogenol.com. You can find out where you can buy it. Pycnogenol is raw ingredients, so you're going to find it in your favorite brand, whatever it is, at natural product stores, pharmacies. And just, take the tips home for your holiday gift from us. And Dr. Lamb, I just wish you the best holiday season and a great new year to come, and really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Danielle.
All right. Happy holidays to everyone. Bye.